Part 401. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 4001. When it came to his own life, he had to be more cautious. Because the consequence of not being careful is a dead end. Obviously, he couldn't bear such consequences. Hold your mind, hold your consciousness. Everything collapses. At this moment, not only the first-class holy man Gusa of the Protostian city is paying attention to the situation at the gap, but many people are also staring at it. Some people already thought of fleeing quickly. There are still some people who are experiencing a wave of crazy struggles in their hearts. Struggling and struggling, it still feels difficult to unblock myself from that state. This wave is really a bit difficult. Once you can't grasp it, you will really be cold on the spot. Even Bai Piao doesn't know how long he has been nagging Fang Fan in his ear, and has been urging Fang Fan to leave this ghost place together. He doesn't want to stay in this damn place anymore. My heart has long been extremely frizzy. Now it's like a rooster with its feathers fried, and can't help but keep shouting from the sidelines. Fang Fan boy, just listen to my advice this time. Why? I know you kid thinks I'm unreliable and always comes up with bad ideas. But this time, it's true. I have a strong feeling that the road ahead will be difficult. Don't we need to be some obstacles in this ghost place? Isn't this really tiring? The whole body has been numb for a long time, okay. It's not interesting, it's really not interesting. Wouldn't it be better to keep sculpting in the sand until the end? This is really self-destructive. I've said so much, why haven't you responded yet? Say it. Say it. Bai Piao didn't know what kind of bewilderment he had. Anyway, now the rambling has been endless. Fang Fan had already chosen to ignore this guy, but in the end it still didn't work out. The noise is so extreme that my brain is about to crack. This wave is even more difficult. It also plays with a hammer. Okay. Stop talking nonsense. If you want to run away, run now. I didn't stop you again. If you keep shouting, my brain will explode. But don't blame me for not reminding you, the appearance of this gap is really strange. The thunder that fell suddenly broke through the defense of the Buddha palace so easily, and then there was such a gap that can accommodate a person to enter and exit. If these are all connected in series, don't you think it's too abnormal? If one place and two places are abnormal, it can be described as a coincidence. But if there are too many times, it will really become a problem. You should know what I mean. Fang Fan's eyes drifted, and while talking, he walked forward a few steps slightly. Ah! Did you have a premonition again, kid? Then I won't move. Your boy is very clever. I can't do it alone. Why do I feel like you kid is fooling me? Ah! Ah! Ah 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 ah! As soon as Bai Piao finished speaking, heart-piercing roars came from outside. In an instant, the conditions of those climbing practitioners outside the gap were all wrong, and their eyeballs instantly turned blood red. For a while, all kinds of words were completely speechless. A heart, messy on the spot, it is difficult to express what you want to say. Immediately, on the outer wall of the pagoda palace, small black worms began to flood out, and then burrowed into the bodies of these practitioners, frantically messing with them. After these little black worms entered the body, their bodies withered up little by little. Then it gradually became thinner and numb, and gradually lost everything. The blood was squeezed dry, and the blood and bones were fabricated. Looking at the past, the whole person is numb on the spot. At this moment, he couldn't say a word, and his heart was full of extreme panic and uneasiness. I can't do anything I want to express. At the moment, he could only stare at all this with trembling eyes. Messy mind and body, suppressed thoughts? When these practitioners lying on the outer wall of the pagoda palace were sucked into mummies by these black worms, they naturally lost their adhesion, and then fell straight down, ending up with no bones left. At this moment, my anxious heart trembled little by little. Unable to utter the last sentence, he completely gritted his teeth and watched all this. In the end, there was only infinite fear and anxiety in the depths of his eyes. Now, what else is there to say? In the end, it's all messed up here. Too difficult. Too difficult. Those little black worms that were full began to metamorphose little by little at this moment. Gradually, a red light began to glow on his body. Immediately after, blood-colored wings grew on the back, and finally evolved into a fiery red beetle, just like those weird bugs on the 5th floor of the pagoda palace. These fiery red beetles are the evolution of those little black worms attached to the outer wall of the pagoda palace. Fang Fan looked up, his eyes flickered at the moment, and then he couldn't help letting out a sigh of relief. All kinds of thoughts in the depths of my heart gradually increased, and my hands and feet trembled little by little. There is nothing to say about this wave. It's a mess of thoughts. The more I think about it, the more irritable I become, and the more I think about it, the messy I get. At the end of the day, it was completely a calm consciousness. At the moment, the panting sounds on the 5th floor of the Futuk Palace increased a lot for a while, and many people were thankful that they survived. At this moment, Quaid, the second-rank god general of the Protostianland city, had already stretched out half of his foot, and was about to run away, when he saw this change unexpectedly. He wanted to retract his feet, but this time he couldn't do it. There were too many small black worms attached to his feet, and the moment he retracted his legs, they devoured the flesh and blood of his legs. For a moment, it looked extremely terrifying. For the rest, there is absolutely nothing to say. Quaid looked like he was about to cry, but at that moment, his whole heart was in a mess. He saw that the ancient temple god general was fooled by Talha before, and he was still secretly complaining that the ancient temple god general was a sand sculpture. He even believed whatever Talha said casually. Immediately, he shook his head and ran away by himself. As soon as he walked out, he felt that the situation was not right. What the hell, what is the escape route here? It's clearly the way to hell, okay. It felt like falling into the mouth of a piranha, and it was almost swallowed in one bite. The sense of fear in the depths of his heart swept into place, and his whole body was immediately numb. This is a chicken. In the end, Quaid can only choose to dock his tail to survive. Cut off the right leg directly, and then exchange for a new life. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 4002. Ah. It hurts to death. Damn it. Asshole. Get out. Get out. Dog things. All dog things. I'll kill you. Kill you. Die. 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 The roar was about to break through the surrounding area. Quaid's right leg was cut off by Chi-Gen, the second-class god of the Protoss. At this moment, the gurgling blood donation followed the turbulent flow, and the ground was full of blood. The blood completely stained this space. Looking at the past, the whole person is stupid. At the moment, I can only purse my lips, my body and mind are trembling a little bit. It's numb, it's completely numb. But fortunately, he still recovered alive, he is not dead yet. This is the luckiest thing. For a moment, his body couldn't stop trembling crazily, and the sound of panting gradually came into place. The tears kept flowing, and the feeling of saving a life was so exciting. The messy heart is about to completely suppress him. Too much bitterness. Almost died. It was all you just now. It was all you. It was all because of you. Ah. Why didn't you stop me? If you stop me from ordering, Won't there be no such things? Asshole. Asshole. It's you. You tricked me. You hurt me. Are you expecting me to die soon? Talha? You bastard. Why are you thinking so viciously? I'll kill you. I'm going to kill you. Dog. You are a dog. The crazy roar followed and swept across, and for a while, the whole person was about to explode. That kind of extremely gloomy mood made Quaid feel terrified. At this moment, he was staring at Talha viciously, as if he was going to rush over to kill Talha. That cold killing intent is about to condense into substance. The ultimate feeling is being torn apart bit by bit. True and clear. Talha was seriously injured at the moment, and couldn't move his body at the moment, so he could only stay there numbly waiting to die. Quaid Achendihong came up and could kill him in minutes. Talha seemed to be able to feel that the god of death was waving towards him, and the god of death was right in front of his eyes. That guy seemed to have come. Stop. At the critical moment, a cold snort came, interrupting the scene. Gushat, the first-ranked god general of the Protostian city, walked over with a cold face, and then gave Quaid a vicious look, with a gloomy look in his eyes. Master Guchat, he. Quaid gritted his teeth, black lines flickered all over his forehead, his lips trembled, and his complexion turned red little by little. Master Guchat, this guy is a disaster. He has no good intentions. Master Guchat, it's better to kill him earlier. It's useless to keep him here. Master Gussa, what do you think? This is a quick fix. Quaid lowered his head, forcing a smile on his face. Although he is not stingy, he is also measured. In any case, he can't go and hang out with his master, can he? If he really did this, he would be killed in a matter of minutes. At that time, he would still be playing with a dick, and he would be directly crushed in place. There would be no chance to resist, and then he would just wait for death. The gloomy heart gradually felt in his heart, and the picture in front of him seemed to be torn apart. Once the feeling is in place, everything is there. When is it your turn to talk nonsense here? Roll. Who said Talha was a disaster? He is a lucky star. He is a real lucky star. Snort. If anyone dares to call him a disaster star in the future, don't blame me for being rude. If you want to die, just say so, I won't stop you. The posture of gnashing teeth was displayed in place, and for a while, the picture in front of him gradually became more beautiful. The eyes of the first-class god of the Protostian city looking at Talha from Gussa changed. At this moment, the so-called light of hatred has long since disappeared, and there is only joy and respect full of heart. To put it bluntly, Talha actually saved him. If Talha hadn't stopped the wave from the side, with his temperament, he might have rushed to that gap long ago, and then went straight in. Fortunately, at the critical moment, he followed along and grasped everything, so that there would be no major changes. Although it may not be safe to continue to stay in the pagoda palace, it is still more comfortable to stay here than to be devoured by those disgusting black worms. Talha. How on earth did you know there was danger in there? Don't try to hide. And don't invent something to lie to me. You know, I'm not that stupid. I want to know a fact now, right now. How about it? Can you satisfy my little wish? Satisfy me. Satisfy me, okay. Talha. I know you are not an ordinary person. As long as you are willing to assist me, from now on, everything I get will be shared equally with you. How about you and I sworn brothers of the opposite sex? Ah. I've said everything to this point, already very sincere, right? Talha. Don't you, haven't responded yet. Do you really want to kill me? Excited yelling followed, and while talking, the eyeballs were about to pop out. Be as anxious as you need to be right now. The more you think about it, the more chaotic you become, and the more you think about it, the more complicated your thoughts become. When Gu Sha walked to Talha's side, those eyeballs were about to burst into flames. Soaring, and crazy. It is more than words. When the mind expands, let's talk to someone. I said, I never thought of saving you, I just don't want those elites of my Protoss to be buried by you. If you insist on thinking wildly, then I can't help it. This is your freedom. You are sculpting in sand, what can you do? Anyway, in this matter, I have a clear conscience, and that's enough. The rest is not important. Whether you want to kill me or trap me, I don't care. As for how I knew that the gap was dangerous, I can only say that I also guessed. Maybe it's because I have a longer mind than you. Talha smiled, looking miserable, his eyes flickered, the corners of his mouth slightly raised, and a gloomy look appeared on his face. Those eyes seemed to be filled with infinite misfortune, and gradually, this round of misfortune was about to spread. The sense of turbulence is gradually in place, making people feel the ultimate sense of oppression from the bottom of their hearts. The entire chest that was pressed was very painful and uncomfortable. His body trembled, and he couldn't even utter a word. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 4003. The ancient temple was at a loss for words. He can do anything to anyone. But only when facing Talha, he seemed restrained. Because this guy doesn't take soft and hard. It's too hard to deal with this. Give him money, people don't care. If you persecute him with life and death, he will be killed immediately. What's the matter? There is no way to follow Pu Leng. In the end, don't you just have to admit cowardice? Because there is no other better way than confession. At the last moment, there was an overall depression. The cool moonlight is in full practice. My brain was buzzing and trembling, and I couldn't say a word of nonsense. Just feel it silently, that's all. This is you, Talha. If it were anyone else, I would have lost my patience and started killing people. You keep saying that you want to revive the Protoss. Okay. I believe you. I am also a member of the Protoss. If I die, the Protoss will lose a supreme demigod. I don't expect you to submit to me anymore. I only have one request now, that is, when I encounter any danger, you should let me know in advance. This can be regarded as accumulating foundations for the entire Protoss. You can do this, right? Just stop haggling with me on this matter. I've had enough. These have been numb for a long time. I don't want to continue to follow through all these fancy things. The posture of gnashing teeth was fully displayed, and the black lines on the forehead became more and more as he spoke. Not much else to say, the gloomy mood this time is gradually understandable. Gu Sha glared at Talha viciously, wanting to seek a reply. Talha remained silent, as if he was thinking about something. Soon, he nodded silently, as if agreeing to the matter. On the 5th floor of the Pagoda Palace, everyone was still concentrating on fighting against the fiery red beetles. Anyway, I can't escape now, so what else can I do besides continue to fight these beetles? It was obvious now that after these fiery red beetles were killed, their corpses would automatically become materials for building stairs. As long as enough fiery red beetles are killed, the stairs on the 5th and 6th floors of the Pagoda Palace can be completely built. At that time, you will be able to enter the Pagoda Palace in this direction. If you think about it this way, it's basically not a big problem. Even though there are many people who don't want to fight those fiery red beetles at all, it's too late. There is no road ahead, and the road behind is blocked again. Is it really not embarrassing to be caught in the middle? What else can one do in such difficult times? Can't you just grit your teeth and rush forward? In the end, feeling these messy things, the whole person is about to become depressed. What is going on here? Messy, endless. I got my life back. I saved your life for all of you. Fortunately, I changed my mind at the critical moment and didn't take you to that gap. I'm still smart. It turns out that this is a trap. Shameless. How shameless. Damn. Why is there such a bastard? What the hell, isn't it just cheating me? Bastard. Don't talk about weird. Grass. I'm furious. The posture of gnashing teeth was displayed in place, and the black lines on the forehead were also displayed. While talking at this moment, the twitching of the corners of the mouth increased. Bai Piao felt a sense of lingering fear at the moment. At this moment, he hurried to Fang Fan's side, not daring to run around anymore. If he had gritted his teeth and stomped his feet and ran away just now, it would be terribly cold now. Did you not take us to that gap? So, do we have to thank you? It's not enough to succeed, but more to fail. Isn't it just that you have been making a fuss and want to run away? It's all right now, keep running. I want to see, how are you going to run now? You bastard, if you don't suffer a little, you won't know the pain. Look at what you've done, what are you doing? Very messy. Why? For you. There is really no way. I don't expect you to play much role, can you not hold back? If there's nothing wrong with you, don't be so mean. Something happened, do you listen to Fang Fan's advice more? You're such an adult, don't worry at all. Grand Uncle G stared at Bai Piao, and couldn't help but teach him a few more words. This guy is completely following the skin now. This is really not enough without education. Will it fly into the sky at every turn? How can this work? What should be suppressed must be suppressed. Otherwise, I really don't know what kind of ghost it will turn into. At this moment, his brain trembled slightly, and he seemed to have a splitting headache more and more. Bai Piao made a mistake this time, and wanted to argue with him, but in the end he could only lower his head and mutter there. Teacher, what should we do next? Uncle G looked at Fang Fan. Fang Fan is now the backbone of everyone. Numerous facts have shown that if you believe in Fang Fan, you will have eternal life. There is no good way now. It can only kill these weird bugs little by little. Then build the stairs from the 5th floor to the 6th floor. Other than that, there is no other way. Fang Fan glanced around, and then couldn't help but sighed. The facts are there, basically there is nothing to say. In terms of mentality, gradually stabilized as before, this wave, do whatever you want. Can't mess up the sense of proportion and rhythm. Otherwise, there will be big problems. For now, we can only carry forward the spirit of Yugong. It's important to persevere. Everyone beat bugs. In the beginning, there were too many bugs, and it was indeed a bit stressful. But as these bugs were wiped out one by one, the number dropped sharply, and it became much easier to deal with. Among them, the Gothic Gatling Legion is definitely the main force to kill these fiery red beetles. The raging gunshots completely covered up everything around them, and the whole brain trembled a little bit. At the end, he couldn't say a word, and could only stare at everything in front of him in such an ignorant way, in a trance, not knowing what to say. Feelings and consciousness are all floating. As for the giant cannon of the Destroyer Artillery Corps, Fang Fan didn't dare to use it for bombing. The power of that thing is a bit strong. Fang Fan is really a little afraid that the Buddha Palace will be bombarded and collapsed. Although it is said that the building materials of the Futuk Palace are all sacred stones, which are very hard, and there will be no problems under normal circumstances, but isn't there an accident in everything? Don't you care about those unexpected situations? Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 4004. Who knows how long this Buddha palace has existed? A little more security awareness, it's okay. After all the fiery red beetles were wiped out, at a glance, the corpses of those fiery red beetles had completely connected the 5th and 6th floors of the pagoda palace. The staircase built entirely from corpses looks a bit Victorian. Everyone looked at each other in blank dismay, not daring to climb up directly for a while. Afraid it was another conspiracy. This wave is indeed fearful. I have been cheated too many times in this Buddha palace. Gradually, a deep shadow has been left in this heart. Looking at this thing now, my body can't help but sway. The extremely trembling heart gradually became numb. The more I think about it, the more trembling my mind becomes, and the messy my thoughts become. Boy Fang Fan. If this is going up, is it considered climbing on a flesh and blood corpse? It always feels a little creepy. Although this bug is annoying, it is still a living thing after all. If you kill them, you will kill them, let them die and not rest in peace. Hey. This is too inappropriate. This is too difficult. Bai Piao didn't know if he really had that benevolent heart in his prudence, but he was still feeling sad for those bugs at this moment. Fang Fan shook his head and sighed silently. Bells. I don't know what tossing about. It's a mess, without even a sense of proportion and restraint. Chaos and disorder. We've come to this point, besides going up to have a look, is there any other option? Anyway, there is no way out. At the moment, there is only one way to go to the dark. Fang Fan licked his chapped lips, looked up at the sky, his thoughts were racing. What is there at the top? Originally, hundreds of thousands of people entered the pagoda palace. When entering the 5th floor, there are actually several thousand people. But after a wave of clashes of fiery red beetles, only 1,000 or so people remained. The light camp, the dark camp, the neutral camp, plus the Protoss. The remaining numbers of the 4 major forces are relatively average. Of course, at this time, the 100 members of Fang Fan's top 10 legions plus the almost 100 members of Guangming Academy, the 200 members seemed rather abrupt. In the past, if you were among hundreds of thousands of people, the attention was not so strong, and it felt like that. But now the number of cultivators of all major forces is decreasing sharply, but the situation of Fang Fan's sharp decrease is much better. Especially those elites under Fang Fan's command, it seems that none of them are injured. When there were hundreds of thousands of people around, they didn't feel that Fang Fan's existence was a great hidden danger. Now that it gradually became clear, the sense of hidden danger has strengthened too much. Tigers are a problem. Why? We've reached this point, there's nothing we can do. It's cold. It's really cold. What is this all about? I told you a long time ago that Fang Fan will be your biggest competitor in the future. What about you? I don't believe it. Everyone wants to preserve their strength, and everyone wants to make a profit. Hee hee. Hee hee hee. How are you doing now? Are you in the set? That's all I'm going to say today. There's only one winner in this trip to the Futu Palace, and that's Fang Fan. All the divine ladders will also be taken away by him, so you can follow with tears in your eyes. With you idiots, there is really no way to talk. Wang Tu, the first-class saint in the Temple of the Light Alliance, couldn't help cursing. At this moment, it is aimed at those supreme demigods present here. One counts as one, all of them are idiots. How stupid! I have never seen such a fool. Wang Tu felt that among so many demigods present, he was the only one with a slightly better brain. For the rest of these people, one counts as one, and they are all humming not top dragons. When swearing, Wang Tu was naturally targeted. At this moment, he was glaring viciously at Yuan Juxiang, another first-class saint in the Temple of the Light Alliance, and he felt that this bastard ruined his own affairs. As long as he is smarter, as long as he is obedient, why did he bother this matter to this extent? Going back and forth, is it really endless? Do you have to follow Pu Leng here? Sand sculpture? My mind is broken. Wang Tu, don't blame Sang and scold Hui. If you want to target me, just say it straight, what are you doing with so much nonsense? This saint just sees you unhappy, just doesn't want to obey your orders, what's wrong? Do you really think you are a character? Not even a little self-knowledge, so much nonsense. Give you a face. Damn thing. You're not the only one who can curse. Yuan Juxiang's face was dark. He usually doesn't scold others easily. After all, he has reached this position, and he needs to have a pattern and image. But today he really couldn't hold back. He was so angry that his brain was shaking, and he was speechless. Sand sculpture. All sand sculptures. If you have the ability, just fight right away. Beat you bloody. Hee hee. Actually, if you have the idea to kill Fang Fan, a competitor, it may not be impossible. As long as you operate well, there are actually opportunities. The key depends on how you want to operate. As his eyes flickered, his thoughts wandered in place. Motion, the first-class saint in the Dark Temple, wanted to come over and get involved again. At this moment, the changing expression is very real. Sage of the Demon Heaven, are you sure? If I attack Fang Fan, will your Dark Temple be willing to attack? There are two supreme demigods in your Dark Temple. Wang Tu, the first-class saint in the Temple of the Light Alliance, his eyes lit up, and he was no longer sleepy at the moment. He was licking his lips at this moment, his expression was unpredictable, his thoughts were flying, and his steps gradually became much faster. I'm sure I'm fine. If you kill the Azura Saint. The corner of Mo Tian's mouth twitched, and he couldn't help but glanced at Mo Tian's position. His expression seemed a bit complicated, his thoughts were wandering, and his consciousness seemed a little unconscious. This thing has a big problem. You can't deal with Fang Fan. Otherwise I'll kill you. I only target you. Killing Shura, the first-class saint in the Dark Temple, raised his bloody eyes to look at Mo Tian, and then said coldly. Mo Tian. He was stunned at the moment. Grass. What the hell? What do you mean? Oh shit. Is this, threatening me? Coerce me? Damn thing. Total dog stuff. I was so angry that I was shaking all over. Damn it. Kill you in minutes. What tone is this? What do you mean I'm only targeting you? As long as you deal with Fang Fan, I will kill you. Are you drifting, or am I unable to hold a knife? Labor and Capital are the younger brothers of the Dark Pope. And it's still a demigod. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 4005. Kill Shura. You shut up. Don't you know your identity? Are you out of your mind? I'll give you a chance to reorganize the language. I hope I won't be disappointed again this time. Hateful. Asshole. Damn it. Mo Tian gritted his teeth and said viciously. I don't need to reorganize language. That's what I mean. Killer Shura, the first-class saint in the Dark Temple, shrugged and said indifferently. Anyway, that's it, you can do whatever you like. I have to say this is really cool. But they do have a certain amount of capital. The ultimate demigod realm cultivation base is there. And it's still the Shura clan with high combat power. If he really fought alone, Mo Tian would feel a little flustered. This shit, basically can't beat it. If the collision is in place, it will be numb in minutes, isn't it? At that time, there will be no chance to fight each other. Wang Tu, the first-class saint of the Dark Temple, gritted his teeth, his eyes became sharper little by little, the oppressive feeling deep in his heart gradually swept in place, and his extreme heart was about to burst out completely. Too difficult. It's too messy. At the moment of confusion, you can't say anything. Mo Tien was just a little curious, what kind of monster is this killer Shura doing today? On weekdays, although this guy likes to pretend, at least everything is within the scope of the scale, at least he won't pretend to be so aggressive. This pretense is really too much. Does he have a bigger conspiracy? Otherwise I wouldn't be so arrogant. Mo Tien clenched his fists, his eyes flickered, his expression changed instantly, and everything was kept silent. This wave of mentality must be stable. Stable. Kill Shura. Do you have something to hide? If you have something to hide, you can say it now. Can't we solve it together? Kill the Saint Shura. We are all members of the Dark Temple. We have all been blessed by the Dark Gods. We should work together. We are a community of destiny. Yes, maybe I have such and such inadequacies in terms of speaking and doing things before, and here, I can apologize to you. But I must ask you something. Do you understand what I mean? A muttering sound followed, and the images in his eyes were torn apart bit by bit. The thoughts are in place, the feelings are gathered in the heart, and everything is said without words. This wave is very stable. Very stable. For the sake of the overall situation, motion has now taken a step forward. It's just that I'm already silently planning in my heart, when this matter is over, I'll kill you every minute. Let you pretend. Make you arrogant. Make you crazy. Buff you first. What happens after that is uncertain. Only the people of the future will know about the future. I said, if you target Fang Fan, I will target you. As long as you don't target Fang Fan anymore, I won't target you anymore. Isn't what I said clear enough? Do you need me to explain something? My explanation is already very clear, right? Killing Shura stretched his waist, relaxed the muscles and bones of his body, and showed a cold expression on his face. Between the words, there was a look of disdain in the eyes. This time, he is even more inclined to fight Mo Tien. Mo Tien. The feeling of speechlessness became stronger. Who are you, Fang Fan? Is he your father? Or your son? Do you have to protect him like this? Or, what benefits did you accept from him? Can you make it clearer? I'm in a mess right now, it's a mess, you know. The corners of Mo Tien's mouth twitched, his face trembled, while he was talking, he couldn't help rolling his eyes. Damn it! Almost didn't get pissed off directly. What's the matter? Can you please stop for a while? He is my kin. He is the existence of the direct lineage of the Azura clan. I must protect him. Killing Shura narrowed his eyes, and then looked at Fang Fan with burning eyes. Everything is clear. Fang Fan couldn't help raising his eyebrows. I really didn't expect that there are these reasons permeating in it. Speaking of which, he was indeed careless before. Didn't expect so many key factors. Fang Fan was still wondering at the beginning that he had never dealt with the Azura killing saint of the Dark Temple, so why did he help him, even at the expense of Mo Tien? Now he said that Fang Fan was from his own clan and heir to the Shura clan's direct lineage. Fang Fan suddenly realized. He does have some Azura blood in his body. This was condensed by taking Shura fruit earlier. After that, some bloodlines were devoured, and the Azura bloodlines evolved. It's just that I haven't used these for too long, so Fang Fan naturally forgot about them. If it hadn't been reminded by the Azura killer this time, Fang Fan might not be able to understand the deep meaning of it. Fang Fan nodded silently, his eyes fluttering, his expression unpredictable. This wave seems to be more interesting. Follow the established pace, basically there is no problem. The overall situation is as stable as ever. Fang fanboy, when did you become relatives with the Shura clan again? Where are you from the Shura clan? You are too good at disguising. I've misidentified my family. Fang fanboy, if others don't know your details, how can I not know? You boy. Bai Biao's chatter increased again. Fang Fan glanced at Tai Shuja. Grand Uncle Ji nodded, understood instantly, and immediately lifted Bai Biao up and beat him up. Very direct action, skillful and distressing. For now, Fang Fan's pressure has been reduced a lot with the addition of a top-notch demigod killing Azura to help him. Right now, there are two supreme demigods in the light camp, namely Wangtu and Yuan Juxiang. Wangtu wished to kill Fang Fan directly, he was regarded as a hostile demigod. As for Yuan Juxiang, he and Fang Fan hadn't had any direct confrontation yet. Sure. The two supreme demigods of the Dark Temple are Kill Shura and Mo Tien, and now Kill Shura stands on his side and can suppress Mo Tien. And then there is the supreme demigod Ancient Temple of the Protoss. Fortunately, this guy is not communicating very well with everyone. The current communication can only be carried out by a few translators. However, the translations of the Protoss languages were half-baked, and sometimes they couldn't express clearly at all. Even with that Yuan Juxiang included, there are only 3 top demigods I need to fight against. Yuan Juxiang, Wangtu, and Gusa. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 4006. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes, followed by his calculations. Now his lineup is under pressure against 2 top demigods. Against 3, it's even harder. These people must be divided. Otherwise, it's really not easy to do. Shoot the bird. Now Fang Fan is the early bird. After all, he did stuff the magic ladder into his storage ring. Now these people are obviously coming for the magic ladder in his storage ring, there is no other reason. This wave, the eyeballs are about to protrude. Fang Fan's eyebrows moved slightly, and the current situation seemed a little delicate. Although it has not reached the point where the mountains and waters are exhausted, it is absolutely impossible to slack off. A little slack, and this problem will become a big problem. The rhythm couldn't be stabilized, and it was directly oppressed into residue. Wangtu, the first-class saint in the Temple of the Alliance of Light, saw that there was no help from the Temple of Darkness, and immediately turned his attention to the side of the Protoss. Anyway, as long as it can help him now, he wants it. This wave of thoughts is quite casual. The saint of the demon heaven. Can you do it? You are a first-class saint after all, right? Why are you being held back by the insiders of the Dark Temple? Wangtu curled his lips and couldn't help but sneered at the side. This wave of sarcasm was in place, and he really felt that his face was dull, the corners of his mouth twitched, and his forehead was already in a state of blackness. Snort. Every family has scriptures that are difficult to recite. If it weren't for that, Saint Wang wouldn't even have a fight with Saint Yuan Juxiang, would he? Mo Tien retorted. It was possible to become comrades in arms, but now, the acquaintance eyes are full of hatred. I can't wait to beat the other party to death. In this case, what else is there to say? Just open your mouth and load it in. It's nothing, and it doesn't make much sense when it comes and goes. Seeing that these people couldn't figure out what was going on, Fang Fan turned around and walked over casually, ready to climb directly to the 6th floor of the Futuk Palace. The first divine ladder appeared on the 5th floor of the Futuk Palace, and there may be more on the 6th floor. Fang Fan's eyebrows flickered, and then he reminded. Now this farce can end now. Constant fluttering is not good. It serves no purpose other than exhausting the whole person. In this wave, the rhythm must be steady, and the consciousness must be clear. Hooking up to the desires deep in the hearts of these people can actually do more things. Everyone looked at each other and felt that what Fang Fan said made sense. Isn't that the reason? The first divine ladder has already appeared on the 5th floor of the Futuk Palace. What about the higher floors? Is there not more? This pattern should also be unfolded accordingly. It can't always be like this. After Fang Fan climbed up, everyone followed suit. There is no way out, even if there is an underworld ahead, there is only one way to go to the underworld. All kinds of sensitive thoughts can only be collected at the moment. At the entrance of the 6th floor of the Futuk Palace, the bronze door opened at the same time. Inside is a grassland. Lush prairie. The air inside is very good. When you stay there, you can't help but close your eyes, and then slowly start to suck the air there, and your whole body trembles slightly. As thoughts fluttered, the whole person went numb. Very exciting and very real. Graceful feeling, sweeping the whole body. Gradually, it is indeed a bit uncontrollable. There is no danger for Fang Fan to walk into it. It seems to be walking, as if it is an outing. Although the environment here looks very poetic and picturesque, everyone has become a lot more serious. What I said before, I might still say a few words, but now I don't talk about it anymore. My eyes are staring fiercely, the sound of breathing gradually becomes rapid, and the tension is palpable. Messy thoughts burst out in his mind. The quieter the place, the more vigilant you must be. This Futuk Palace is definitely a place for monsters. It often gives you extreme stimulation when you don't expect it. Oh shit. I have suffered losses many times before. Now I can't suffer anymore. Steady, steady, must be steady. You can't wave. One wave destroys everything. A chattering voice followed, and as his eyes flickered, his thoughts became confused. His legs and feet were trembling, and his heart was extremely anxious. Walking in this place is not enjoying, but suffering. It's really a crime. Legs and feet have long been a little inflexible. That kind of nervous and urgent mood can't be expressed at all. Instead, it was suppressed again and again. Difficult to go to the blue sky. For this wave, don't talk nonsense, it's true to calm down. Brother Fan. This level is not dangerous. Let's go directly to the 7th floor. Xiao Xiao rubbed her little head in Fang Fan's arms. She enjoyed this feeling very much, it made her feel a burst of warmth. Invisibly, my whole body felt much warmer. The taste is very graceful, the consciousness is very clear, and everything is spoken. Everything is proceeding according to the established path. No danger. Welfare Bureau. Fang Fan raised his eyebrows. Although he felt a little strange, he didn't think much about it. It has been said that the Pagoda Palace is very strange. Since it's weird, isn't it normal for anything to happen? Fang Fan nodded silently, his thoughts fluttered, and then his consciousness gradually cleared. They were all small problems. Decide everything calmly. Walk. Speed up. Keep climbing up. Fang Fan looked at everyone in Guangming Academy, and said immediately. It's been long enough to toss in the Futuk Palace. If possible, Fang Fan also wanted to end the trip to the Buddha Palace as soon as possible. Ah! Boy Fang Fan, don't be so reckless. Although Xiao Xiao said that there is no danger, but you can't believe everything. Be careful to make the 10,000 years ship, woo, woo woo. Bai Piao wanted to say something more, but was taken away by Taishiji, covering his mouth. This guy is good at everything, but too much nonsense. From time to time, you have to follow the lesson, otherwise, you don't know the status of the person at all, okay. Chi Chi Wei Wei, endless. Too much nonsense. Nothing. The sense of sand sculpture is still being strengthened. Fang Fan led the 10 legions under his command and everyone from the Guangming Academy to sprint forward, and then quickly moved towards the 7th floor of the Futuk Palace. At this moment, they are at the forefront. All of a sudden, many people around turned their gazes together, with a hint of surprise and astonishment on their faces. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 4007. What are they running so fast for? Did they find some treasure? Did they go snatch it? What a baby! Nothing. No. There is definitely something wrong with it. Let's speed up too. Hurry over and have a look. If you want to speed up, you can speed up yourself. Let's walk slowly here, and pay attention to the dangers around us. Just rushing forward so stupidly, I don't know how I died. Hey. After saying so much, why don't you believe it? How dangerous it is, can't you see it? This man. What do you think? Hee. Let them charge forward. It just happens to be able to find the way for us. That's right, let's be more obscene in the back. But what if there is a baby in front of me? If there is a baby, let's grab it again. Why can't we turn our brains around? Are you so stupid? It's okay, just look at it. Small problems, all small problems. Look, they ran straight for the stairs, heading for the 7th floor of the Futuk Palace. Crap. Are we really careless? Is there no danger on the 6th floor of the Buddha Palace? The surrounding chattering voices followed, each of them stared wide-eyed, and the sense of ceremony was gradually in place. Fang Fan didn't bother to care about the nonsense of these people behind him, so he went straight on. The bronze door at the entrance to the 7th floor of the Futuk Palace blocked Fang Fan's way. Have you started blocking the way again? After all, still can't escape this checkpoint. Fang Fan raised his eyebrows and couldn't help showing a complicated look on his face. This wave is really a bit unpredictable. After the people at the bottom all came up, looking at the tightly closed bronze gate on the 7th floor of the Buddha Palace, they also seemed a little discouraged. Here we go again. Fortunately, there was no danger on the 6th floor of the Pagoda Palace. But again, without danger, there is no gain. The two hit it off right away. No point, really no point. Immediately, for no reason, I felt that my brain was buzzing and trembling, and the taste was not so good. For a moment, my thoughts fluttered, my consciousness became numb, and I was nothing but fluttering. Squeak. Creak. After waiting for about 10 minutes, the gate on the 7th floor of the Futuk Palace was gradually opened. With a glance, the picture in front of you is deep and vast. The 7th, 8th, and 9th floors of the Futuk Palace are all connected together. You can see the head at a glance. What appeared in front of my eyes was a series of stone tablets. There are scrawled words engraved on the steel, but they are not clear. On the 7th floor of the Futuk Palace, there is a stone monument. On the 8th floor of the Futuk Palace, there is a stone monument. The 9th floor, is still a stone monument. Waves of vastness and silence swept over, making people feel tremors from the bottom of their hearts. For a moment, the whole person fell into this mess and couldn't extricate themselves. Immediately, even the most basic movements were gone. If you are confused here, let alone talk to someone. This wave, I don't know what to say at all. Anyway, the current consciousness is more or less numb. It's nothing, just playing around a bit. Probably this is the taste and feeling. What do you mean? What are you doing with so many stels? Is there any special meaning? Grass. Could it be the tombstone prepared for us in advance? Is this going to bury us all in this ghostly place? Damn it! In the end, do you want to be so messy? Son of a bitch. Damn it! Do not come! Get out! Excited shouts followed, and at this moment, there were gasps. All kinds of thoughts trembled rapidly in his mind, and then he couldn't say a word. Some just have extreme numbness. At the moment when the mentality is broken, anything you say is nonsense. Horrible. It's so frightening. At the moment of chaotic rhythm, it is useless to say everything. Bai Piao subconsciously stepped back a few steps. He felt bad. Very bad. Buddha monument. This is the Buddha monument. All of a sudden, Tiank, the giant Suanwua beast, cried out excitedly. Everyone's eyes couldn't help but look at the big tortoise who spoke out. After all, among so many people present, Suanwua seemed to know a little more. The steel of the Buddha, once enlightened, the good fortune will be endless. This is the greatest mystery of the Buddha palace. I never thought we would have such an opportunity. In the outside world, it is absolutely impossible to have the opportunity to come into contact with these Buddha monuments. It is said that the law of the gods can be comprehended in this sacred monument of the Buddha. This is too different from ordinary laws. The law of God, that is the law that even the true gods need to understand slowly. It's all of it. Whirring. Gudong. Master, it is said that a mortal once ascended to a god by comprehending the Buddhist monument of the Buddha. The basalt behemoth Tiank stared wide-eyed, and then said excitedly from the side. From his expression, one can clearly see the excitement and surging feeling in his heart. All the will is manifested very purely. Fang Fan's eyes flickered, and as his thoughts fluttered, a complex expression appeared on his face. When the thoughts are in place, all kinds of feelings can't help but increase. It doesn't feel right. There are quite a lot of mysteries in it. The problem is also very big. Welcome everyone to the Buddha Palace. Just when everyone was confused, a cold female voice suddenly came from the air. Everyone thought it was someone's prank at first, but after a wave of visits left and right, they didn't see anything, and everything was still as it was. With a sweeping glance, the eyeballs gradually became bright red. The footsteps were heavy, followed by a slight tremor. Who? Come out. Don't play tricks in front of the saint. This saint will kill you directly. Wangtu, the first-class saint in the Temple of the Light Alliance, let out a roar, and then began to sweep back and forth around. Click. A thunder fell. It hit Wangtu directly on the head. At the critical moment, Wangtu shifted his head to the limit, and the sky thunder landed on his arm. Stab it. Click. His left shoulder instantly turned into a piece of powder, and half of his body was torn apart. Looking at the past, I feel inexplicably miserable and terrifying. This scene is horrifying and disturbing. At this moment, they looked at each other, and quickly swept the whole body, and the consciousness of the whole person was completely numb. Grass. This is also a hammer. Mess. Totally messed up. Wangtu gritted his teeth, with streaks of cold sweat on his forehead. He didn't dare to pretend to be aggressive at the moment, he could only shrink his neck and look around in awe. That unwarranted existence is too strong. As a supreme demigod, his defense can be destroyed in an instant. If he had hesitated a little bit just now, he would have been completely wiped out. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 4008. This can be regarded as a race against death. Almost lost. After going through such an experience, the whole person naturally seemed much more well behaved. Naturally, they didn't dare to make any more moves in this wave, and hurriedly avoided and ran away, for fear of suffering the disaster of the fish pond. Everyone looked at each other and couldn't help but sigh. The top demigod was almost wiped out. One can imagine how strong this illusory existence is. Everyone stayed on their own, not daring to make any more changes. If there is another change, it will really cost you your life. These people are not stupid, relatively speaking, they are not so stupid. The rhythm in all aspects must be as stable as ever. Thoughts are in a mess, the more you think, the deeper your feelings become. With the feeling, the consciousness will gradually become sober. The rest are minor issues. Don't care at all. Steady as Mount Tai. Just do it. Some clever people have already gathered beside the Buddha monument, ready to comprehend it. It is said that this is a good thing. Isn't this a good thing? The monument of the Buddha is divided into 3 monuments, man, earth, and heaven. 100 monuments. 10 monuments. There is only one Tianbei. Those who have successfully comprehended the 100 human stels can enter the 8th floor of the pagoda to comprehend the ground stels. Those who successfully comprehend the 10 earth stels can enter the 9th floor of the pagoda to comprehend the heaven stels. The first person to comprehend the 100 monuments will be rewarded with a section of the divine ladder, and given a bath with divine grace. The first person to comprehend the 10 monuments will be rewarded with 2 sections of the divine ladder and a bottle of supreme divine liquid. The first person to comprehend a celestial monument will be rewarded with 4 sections of the divine ladder and 1 Godhead. An ethereal voice followed, and for a moment I felt my whole brain buzzing and trembling. At this moment, with his eyes flickering, he couldn't even say a word. His thoughts were messed up, the corners of his mouth twitched, and his mind was trembling infinitely. With a numb heart, let's talk to someone. This wave, the rhythm is completely messed up. All kinds of bursting sensations swept through the whole body. The sound is long and empty. It feels like it's radiating from the surroundings, but I just can't find the woman who made the sound. Although it is very bright inside, there is a strong sense of eerie terror invisibly. His thoughts were in a mess, his eyes flickered all over, and he couldn't say a word at the moment. Completely in a state of numbness that cannot be extricated. This wave is really unbearable. In the end, it was completely suppressed. It's nothing, just playing around a bit. Budger God Monument. Human Monument. Earth Monument. Sky Monument. After comprehending, he actually directly rewarded the divine ladder. The one who finally comprehends the heavenly monument will be directly rewarded with 4 divine ladders. Then, a complete Godhead is also rewarded. Godhead. That's Godhead. Fang Fan licked his lips, and the greedy look flashed across his eyes. It would be a lie to say that I am not moved at all. At this moment, the extremely surging heart is surging to the top little by little. The stream of consciousness is also diverging little by little. The more you think about it, the deeper you feel. It is more than words. Only by following this trend steadily and steadily can we gradually appreciate the true meaning of it. Otherwise, it is nothing, meaningless, really meaningless. Established consciousness, established rhythm, established surging heart. Everything, locked in the moment. Everyone's eyeballs immediately turned red. These stels are now more than just stels. Baby. These are all babies. They are all treasures that can make them rich. For a while, the sound of breathing gradually became rapid, and the depths of the eyes were shining endlessly. Exciting to the extreme. Cool batch. I'm going to study it quickly. After I finish comprehending all these messy monuments, I'll take off directly. That's right. That's it. I can't stand it anymore. What AF asterisking excitement. Hoo. Steady, stabilize your mentality, don't be nervous, don't be nervous. Damn it. It's not a matter of being nervous or not. The key is, isn't it really stimulating? Follow the established direction. Full burst. Fight to the end. Fight. 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 I feel that if this is the case, it's really fair. everyone has a chance to compete with the speed of our comprehension of the steel. Otherwise, if we really rob each other, we will have no chance at all. If I am lucky enough to comprehend all these Buddha monuments, wouldn't I take off? Successfully comprehend 100 human steles, and reward 1 divine ladder. Successfully comprehend 10 monuments, and reward 2 sacred ladders. It will be even more enjoyable for those who successfully comprehend the only celestial monument, and get 4 sacred ladders at once. You can even reward a godhead. Damn it! If you have a godhead, can't you become a god? Gudong, what you said is so humming reasonable. I can't take it anymore, this wave, I really can't stand this wave. Whirring. My FCK. My whole F body is shaking. It's so exciting. My opportunity. This is my unique opportunity. I'm going to take off. Fight. If you comprehend all the steles of the human, earth, and heaven at once, you will be able to get the 7 divine ladders. It is said that there are only 9 sections of this divine ladder in total, one of which was found on the 5th floor of the Futuk Palace, and Fang Fan took it away, and the last section of the divine ladder did not appear. I don't know where the last section of the ladder is. As far as I know, this last divine ladder once appeared in the treasury of the Lord's mansion of Tianlin city of the Protoss, and then disappeared. It is said that it was also on Fang Fan's body. Speaking of which, this Fang Fan has already got 2 divine ladders now. Crap! It's so cool. I'm jealous. A wave took off directly. It's really cool. Hey. It's useless to envy and hate this kind of thing. He is awesome. What can he do? Hold on, you really have to hold on, if you can't hold on, you'll pull your hips. Especially with this mentality, it will definitely collapse. Everyone couldn't help but start talking among themselves. Compared to themselves, they feel that they are the children of destiny. You can fly right away. So everyone felt that they could comprehend the steel immediately. Under the influence of this kind of emotion, it is just like this, one by one, one by one, one by one, one by one, and one by one to take off. Boy Fang Fan. The opportunity is here. I feel like I can. I have a strong hunch. Real. When I came here just now, I didn't feel right. I always feel like I've been here before. These monuments of the Buddha God have a very familiar feeling. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 4009. With his head held high and his chest held high, Bai Piao still looked presentable. Thoughts drifted away, and the arrogance on his face was beyond words. At the moment, the more I talk, the more excited I become, and the more I talk, the more surging. Gradually have the feeling, consciousness, and gradually wake up. Cool batch. Feel happy. The taste is endless. That's it. For the rest, the original rhythm is still developing smoothly. The reward is so rich, it must be difficult. These are all corresponding. We still can't be too reckless. Let's try to feel the Buddha monument first. It shouldn't be so easy to comprehend. Everyone goes there, and if anyone comprehends fast enough, they can try their best to help her enter a higher level. Fang Fan pondered for a moment, then said. To be honest, Fang Fan didn't have much confidence in the Buddha monument. After all, it was the first time we met. What is the situation, he has no idea in his mind. In case it is buried inside like this, then play with the hammer. This wave must be steady. Stability is the first. Fang Fan's eyes flickered slightly, and as his thoughts fluttered, various consciousnesses gradually came into place in his mind. At the moment, like these people, I can only explore bit by bit. Fortunately, every Buddhist monument here can accommodate many people to study together. Otherwise, it would be difficult to divide the 100 monuments. Fang Fan stared at the stele with big eyes and small eyes, but the small eyes couldn't help but move. I don't understand any of the above questions. Is it necessary to comprehend? When I touched the monument, it was cold to the touch, but I didn't feel much other than that. Looking at it at this moment, the whole person fell into a state of bewilderment and couldn't extricate himself. I can't do anything I want to say. All kinds of messy thoughts gradually became chaotic in his mind, so there is nothing else to say about this. With his brain buzzing and trembling, he couldn't say a word. All kinds of sand sculptures are in place, basically that's it. If you can't stand still, it will be messy. Very solid. Cough. I leave it to you to understand. You know, I've never known anything about this kind of stuff. I just glanced at it twice, and now I feel my brain is twitching. It really hurts. Very messy. Tai Shuja was the first to choose to give up. Shaking his head quickly at this moment, he couldn't even comprehend a single monument. Bai Piao tried his best to read all the 100 monuments, and then walked back with a look of regret. I really don't know what you are trying to understand. I don't know the word, and there are no steps on it. Are you just staring at me so stupidly? Good guy. Look. I cannot stand it anymore. Looking at it like this, my eyeballs are going to be blind. I can't take it anymore. Wipe. You come, you come. I will give you the opportunity. I'm waiting for you to take me off. Come on. This matter is related to the ownership of the divine ladder. And there are rewards such as divine grace and so on. It's simply not too cool. Hold it, and you can take off. Make good use of this opportunity. Bai Piao babbled, speaking in a serious manner. This guy is always so confident when talking about others. It's just that when things happen to me, it doesn't work well, and then I follow suit. This guy has always been in such a habit. Fang Fan shook his head, deeply moved. A wave of bells and whistles. This is completely flirting around. While thoughts are flying, everything is silent. If you are safe, you have to be safe. In this matter, it really can't be messed up. After watching for more than 10 minutes, Fang Fan's eyes felt a little sore. As for the harvest, there is nothing, everything, all in vain. On the contrary, it made the whole person exhausted. The corner of Fang Fan's mouth twitched, and he couldn't help shaking his head, with an extremely helpless expression on his face. This is really meaningless. Vice Palace Master, how are you doing? Fang Fan looked at Shui Wanren, the head of Guangming Academy, and asked immediately. Shui Wanren can be regarded as a highly respected existence among this group of people. I can see some ideas. It seems to be regular. But if you want to comprehend, it will take time. Don't bother me. Let me study hard. I feel that this thing is quite interesting. Shui Wanren blinked his sleepy eyes, and while talking, his breathing gradually came into place. Immediately, he hugged the monument like this and didn't want to let go. The whole person's thoughts seemed to have been completely immersed in it and couldn't extricate themselves. The more I looked at it, the more excited I became, and the more I looked at it, the more flushed my face became. If there is some enlightenment, the whole person wants to subconsciously follow suit. Exciting, exciting batch. As thoughts fluttered, consciousness immediately expanded into place. This wave, I feel flattered. The refreshing feeling is also being superimposed little by little. This shows that Shui Wanren did find some fun in this monument. If not, he wouldn't be in this posture. I just don't know what special truth to find in it. Fang Fan squinted his eyes flickered, his thoughts were messed up, and everything was kept silent. Slowly, it feels in place. Looking at the audience, some people are very irritable, while others are very quiet. Those who are irritable have no feeling for this monument. A quiet person is enlightened. Swish. Suddenly, a golden light flickered past, and a person not far away actually had a golden light on his body. This saint, enlightened. Ha ha ha. Interesting. Indeed there is. Is this saint the first to comprehend the human steel? Ah. It's so easy. It's a small skill. I thought it was something too simple, isn't it? It doesn't matter at all. Casual, too casual. The person with the golden light is Wang-Tu, the first-class saint in the Temple of the Alliance of Light. He finally found such an opportunity to pretend. Can he miss it now? At the moment, it is natural to pretend to be full of force. The Buddha monument has appeared. At the same time, that cold female voice reappeared. Immediately afterwards, a golden list appeared in the air. The relevant rankings are impressively recorded on it. List of Buddha monuments. First place, Wang-Tu, a stele of enlightenment. Second place, none. Third place, none. Due to the limitations of certain factors, it looks quite hip now. Sweeping in place at a glance, my brain buzzed and trembled. This taste gradually became numb. For the rest, let's talk about a hammer. While the thoughts are suppressed, the ideas are about to burst into place. More than 10 minutes passed, and the only one who comprehended the human steel was Wang-Tu. And it's just a comprehension. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 4010. You know, there are 100 of these steles. Comprehending one is really just the beginning. It's not yet known what will happen next. There was more or less a sense of uneasiness in everyone's hearts. But at least it's off to a good start. At the very least, it proves that the Buddha monument can still be comprehended. At the same time, Fang Fan found that the basalt giant Tianq was in front of a human monument, and he looked at it with great interest. You understand it too? Fang Fan was suddenly surprised. It's just that Tianq, the Suanwu giant beast, didn't respond to Fang Fan's inquiry at all, but just looked at the stele blankly, seeming obsessed. Fang Fan knew very well that it was impossible for Tianq, the giant Suanwu beast, to hear his voice and not respond. Now the posture of the basalt giant Tianq can only show one reason, that is, he is completely immersed in this kind of world and cannot extricate himself. The body and mind trembled in place, the eyeballs rolled wildly, and the consciousness gradually expanded. The stabbing is boundless. With such thoughts and feelings, who can tell them more? It seems that this monument of the Buddha is aimed at all living beings. Not necessarily a primate creature. Interesting. Fang Fan groaned, then gritted his teeth, and stood in front of a human monument, forcing himself to calm down and ponder. The pressure of everyone in the audience is actually quite high. You chase after me, for fear of being overtaken. Everyone is trying their best to do their best. It's just that in many cases, you can't do whatever you want. There are too many things involved here. If you are not careful, you may be suppressed. At that time, if you want to flutter, you will not be able to flutter. Unfortunately, you don't want to. My mind is full of thoughts, my consciousness is chaotic, and my rhythm can't be stabilized. I'm playing with a hammer. It's nothing, it's just fluttering like a sand sculpture. With his brain trembling, he couldn't even speak the minimum language. Sand sculpture consciousness, let's talk to someone. Hurry up. Hurry up and enlighten. Among the group of foreigners, someone has already comprehended the first monument. We're already behind. Can you work harder? Especially you Talha. Call. Now, now all hope is focused on you. You don't let me down. I can't take those blows. You have to come steadily. Develop slowly, plan slowly, you know. You are the wise man of our Protoss. Now all hope is on you. If you succeed, then you can say anything. If you fail, it's all over. All over. Talking to you, talking to you. Did you hear me? Did you hear me? A chattering voice followed, and the eye circles gradually became rosy. While speaking, his expression was unpredictable, and his extreme will was bursting out little by little. It is more than words. It feels pretty good to develop along a smooth path. What should be done, what should be done? Talha, who was originally weak, has now become the hope of these Protoss people. Protoss practitioners actually have one characteristic, that is, most of them are muscular. The muscles are very developed, but the brain is actually not very good in many cases. From time to time, some jokes will come out. The sense of sand sculpture gradually increased, his brain was buzzing and trembling, and there was nothing to say about the rest. It's nothing but fluttering. Can you shut up? The third-rank God General Talha of the Protoss Tianlin city glared at Gusha, the first-class God General, with impatience in his tone. Gusha. Grass. Dare to kill him? Damn it. Is this okay? Float. This is really beautiful. What a bastard. It will directly suppress you in minutes. Oh shit. Damn it. It's too hateful. Beat you to death every minute. The skin starts to itch after 3 days of no use. His thoughts wandered, and his consciousness trembled slightly. Nothing, just play. No point, really no point. Sand sculpture consciousness is always gathering. Basically, that's it. Talha. My patience has a limit. Don't treat me like this. Gusha reminded. Please shut up and change. You've been talking nonsense here, how can I comprehend this monument of Buddha with peace of mind? If you want me to comprehend the Buddha monument sooner, then don't say anything. Actually, there is nothing difficult about this monument. The key is that sometimes it's too noisy. This nonsense is really too much. My brain is about to burst. Nonsense, less. Talha is now attacking the ancient temple, there is nothing wrong with it. Gusha was burning with anger, but he could only endure it. Because he didn't have the patience to comprehend the Buddha stele, and Talha was indeed a special existence among these Protoss cultivators. If it is said that their Protoss have any advantage over those foreigners in comprehending the divine stele, there is actually one more Talha. The rest are all disadvantages. With such an advantage, this wave must be fully grasped. Don't dare to be messy at the moment. If you are not careful, you will really pull your hips. This shit, who can bear it? In a mess of thoughts, I don't know what to say at all. The sense of sand sculpture continues to strengthen. For the rest, basically there is no problem. Steady is the first. Let you be presumptuous for a while. Humph. Obediently comprehend the Buddha monument for me, that's fine. If you can't understand it, see how I will deal with you. The patience of this God General has a limit. Let me be patient, but there must be results. Gusha thought to himself, he couldn't help clenching his teeth at this moment, and persisted a little longer. You guys, stop talking nonsense. Let him enlighten me. Whoever disturbs Talha, I will be the first to abolish him. While Gusha was talking, he immediately glanced at Quaid who was at the side, which was considered a hint. Quaid opened his mouth, confused. Oh shit. What are you watching me do? The whole audience is intensely comprehending the Buddha monument. After all, the comprehension of this divine stele represents the divine ladder, and even the Godhead. So many rewards, do you really want to? At this moment, their respective eyeballs are about to fly. At the moment when thoughts gather, the state of mind flutters to the extreme. The more I think about it, the more excited I become, the more I think about it, the more excited I am, everything is said without words. According to the established rhythm, that's it. Feel happy. This effect is what I want. The camp of light has taken the lead. We, the temple of darkness, cannot fall behind. Crazy, work harder. The first-class saint of the dark temple, Mo Tien, is staring at the first-class son of the dark temple, Mad Demon, and now it's up to him. One depends on the other.